And anyone crafty enough to make their own front end for Uniswap v2 on Pulse Chain Network and edit the settings, yeah, if you're able to do that, then you can get in and do the arbitrage manual. There's going to be some things that aren't bought up. So like Richard Hart said, like there should be some opportunities there. It should be interesting for those first 48 hours, like the Wild Wild West. I expect a whole bunch of gears to still be turning behind the scenes.
Could you maybe break down how the price might look like for a hex pulse pair? Is it your belief that they would try to recreate the value of the hex in Pulse? So, like, if you're trying to dilute Ethereum, 1,000,000%, would that be reducing the Pulse price technically 1,000,000%? And then that would be one hex would equal how many pulls based on 1,000,000 times less value of Pulse versus Ethereum? Is that how that would work?
Yes and no. People really need to forget the word price in those first 48 hours pre-bridge. In those first 48 hours of the network, it's ratios. And in that fact, yes. So right now, one Ethereum gets you so many hex, or better off, one hex gets you so much Ethereum. And with the increase of supply, it's 1.2 million multiplication. Everybody's in such a rush to get in there and trade everything, but nothing has any value. It's still ratio paired. But until bridge opens and the first central exchange goes, yep, we had it, here's the pools. When that price happens and sets it, then the ratio price will kind of run through everything else and you'll have actual price discovery on all the tokens. I have some of my own theories on that, but basically the price, once that happens, like in terms of, say, on the exchange, they decide, well, the sacrifice rate was 10,000 coins for $1, so what if we start it for 1,000 coins for $1, as in 1/10 of a cent starting price? It didn't matter what you aped into. So people will be spinning knobs and price discovery will be so amazing when price hits pulse.
When people say, well, what should I go get? What should I take? What should I trade into? At the end of the day, you got to think about what's going to be the main provider price, not liquidity price. Will it be ETH? Will it be Hex? Will it be Shiba? But the more we bridge in, the more we give power to that price value, right? And then the ratios do the rest.
The perception of value versus price. And so that's, it's a little bit more nuanced, but if you do have values, and Richard Hart kind of speaks on this, like say we've been with Hex for 4 cents for 4 months, basically up and down. If Pulse launched tomorrow, there's a certain perceived community value of Hex having a price around 4 cents, which if it's on a chain that's potentially like even more than Ethereum based on the use case of Hex and the negative externalities of gas fees being removed, the community, and this is where social, consensus of value of an item could settle at something similar or even more based on what we're accustomed or what we believe in. And you look at all-time highs. So if you bridge Pulse X and Pulse over, if there is a movement, it's going to happen to where, we're going to bring Pulse X over, and that's our billboard in the blockchain of decentralized finance, where more people use Uniswap than most centralized exchanges. Pulse X and Pulse Tide, man, it's going to be like we're showing off some of our better assets in the Ethereum community. Top Gun, what do you think about the bridging over to the Pulse and the Pulse X? Have you heard of anybody speak about that?
I mean, the bridge on pulsechain.com, if you go and use the test bridge, you can't really run anything through it, but you can play from the test network on Ethereum over to the Pulse one, and it's so easy to use. I will say that, once it becomes available and people can start bridging stuff over and start pairing stuff up, it is going to be awesome. Going to be really interesting. So it's my way of saying I expect a lot of people to use it since it's so simple to use. So a lot of value should come through there.
Pulse Chain, system state fork of Ethereum with Richard Hart, a layer 1 with improved tokenomics compared to Ethereum or other blockchains. We're going to be basically having the burn feature going to reduce our supply, over time, which Ethereum has always had an increase increased supply with no cap. We've got a cap and a burn. So this is really impressive. Not going to mean you're going to get rich quick off the delegated proof of stake. Probably not, but the coin itself has a chance to do more appreciation potentially than Ethereum did just from that tokenomic alone. I really like that. I think a lot of people are going to look and see like, wow, I wish I was in Ethereum day one. And not only that, Ethereum was like, what, 30 to 60 cents day one-ish. And you could get into Pulse for a tenth of a penny, So let me grab a big bag just in case this thing does do 1,000x in 2 years. This is a golden opportunity to kind of like wake crypto back up to something new and exciting that works better probably than anything else out there.
There's a lot of brain power that has gone behind the process of building Pulse Chain.
You have to remember Pulse Chain is going to be basically one of the cheapest places to launch a coin. You can literally do your dev work without even a testnet because it's so dirt cheap, right? So, and it's EVM, which means everything everybody did somewhere else has a very good opportunity to work pretty decently fine over there on Pulse Chains. You have a good idea. I don't know if you know, but there's like over 135 projects pretty much, if not almost ready to go. They're building to launch for Pulse Chain. So we're not going to be an empty chain by any means. I imagine we're going to have thousands of devs working on Pulse Chain. And most people, like Top Gun was saying, a lot of these people are near ready to go if they could just, connect to the network. Man, once this thing launches, give it a year, give it 2 years of adoption, you're not going to be in that position of an early adopter anymore.